Good morning, colleagues. I rise and stand here today to proudly recognize an inspiring act of heroism and a number of the brave officers who saved lives nearly a year ago at Los Angeles International Airport. On the morning of November 1st, 2013, a call went out that sent chills down the spine of anybody who heard it, that there was a gunman in Terminal 3 firing a rifle at TSA officers and passengers. The officers you see behind me today heard the call and sprang into action immediately, arriving on scene within 30 seconds. After reaching the scene, these officers quickly fell into active shooting formation and entered the danger zone. Only 4 minutes and 8 seconds later, after that first call went out, the shooter was down. I'm incredibly honored today to recognize these brave men of the Los Angeles World Airports Police Department so we can thank them appropriately for their heroism and for serving the city so exceptionally. We're here today, Chief Gannon is with me, and Chair of our Public Safety Committee, Mr. Englander, is with me to honor Los Angeles Los Angeles Airport Police Sergeant Steve Souness, Officer David Laliker, Officer Brian Lopez, Officer Robert Pedregon, Raymond Woods, and Officer Daniel Yu. Their quick thinking and bravery on that day last year prevented a terrifying and tragic situation from being an absolute devastating massacre. Last month, these officers were deservedly honored by Governor Brown with the Public Safety Officer Medal of Valor for their heroic actions. This award is California's highest award bestowed upon public servants, and it recognizes extraordinary valor above and beyond the call of duty. Mr. England, do you want to help me introduce the guys?
I'd be honored.
You want
to? Well, before going through the introductions, let me just say something about these guys behind us. We call our public safety officials law enforcement heroes. These are superheroes. Yeah, that deserves a round of applause. When you go through the police academy, and one of your most proudest moments in life is when you get your badge pinned on you. When you go through all the training, they tell you what could happen, and you prepare and train for the worst. But it's in that moment when you hear gunshots, when you see people in crisis fleeing and running and screaming in chaos, and the first thing that you think of is running towards bullets, running towards danger, is what do I do to control the situation? And the second thing, as your adrenaline is pumping like it never has before, that you're thinking of is, I want to make it home to my family. You can't describe what's going through an individual, a human being's mind that you can never train for. But yet they do it, and they did it. They did it by putting their lives, their families. One here who's married with a little boy at home. And you think, I want to come home tonight to tuck him in. I need to be there tomorrow morning to wake him up and get him ready for school. And all of this is actually going through your mind. And you're falling back then on your training and your experience, knowing full well you're putting your life first before a complete stranger. You're risking everything to save somebody, to save others you've never met. That's not a paycheck. It's not a job. It's heroism. And I want to say congratulations and thank you to all of you. First up, we have Sergeant Steve Souness. Did I get that right?
You did.
Souness. All right. I want to make sure I get that right. He's an 11-year veteran of the Los Angeles Airport Police, and he was appointed a field training officer, an FTO. This is the one that trains officers. Before being promoted to sergeant in 2005, as a sergeant, he served in the patrol service section for 6 years, as a range master for 3 years. He is currently assigned as detective supervisor in the LAX Crime Task Force Unit and began his career in law enforcement in 1984 with the Long Beach Police Department. And he's also worked for the Cypress and Los Alamitos Police Departments. Please put your hands together and recognize Sergeant Steve Souness.
Next up is Motor Officer Robert Pedregon. He's a 5-year veteran of the Airport Police, recently assigned to the Traffic Services Section as a motor officer. He has collateral duties as a member of the Airport Police Honor Guard Unit and as Assistant PIO. He previously served in patrol services and was promoted to Senior Lead Officer at the airport and as a field training officer. Before beginning his law enforcement career with the Airport Police, Officer Pedregon worked in the private sector in transportation. He was a franchise business owner prior to joining the California Highway Patrol as a dispatcher.
Officer David Lalaker is a 6-year veteran with the Airport Police and is assigned to the Patrol Service Section. Please put your hands together and welcome another superhero, Officer David Lalaker.
Motor Officer Raymond Woods is a 13-year veteran with the Airport Police and is assigned to the Traffic Services Section as a motor officer, where he's been for the past 6 years. He's participated, by the way, in 8 Baker to Vegas Challenge Cup relay races. He's a caregiver to his younger brother, Philip, who has a cognitive disability. Raymond.
Officer Daniel Yu is a 10-year veteran of the Airport Police assigned to the Patrol Service Section. He has also served as a field training officer for 7 years. Put your hands together for Officer Daniel Yu.
One of the officers is unable to be here with us today, and Chief Gannon will be accepting on his behalf. Officer Brian Lopez, he's a 7-year veteran with the Airport Police. He was recently assigned to the Vulnerability Assessment and Analysis Unit at the airport. They handle investigations related to the airfield operations area. He served in the Patrol Services Section for 6 years. Officer Lopez also served in the U.S. Army as a cavalry scout for 10 years. Chief Gannon, why don't you take this one? Do you want to say a few words? Sure. No, not at all. Would you like to speak?
Council members, I'm Sergeant Steve Souness from Airport Police. All of us, on behalf of the 6 of us, especially on the entire department, we're very humbled, appreciative of your invitation and your recognition here today. And we just want to reaffirm our dedication and commitment and care for the traveling public, employees at LAX, and of course the entire city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Colleagues, I'd like to also single out one other individual. There's something that we don't go through as elected officials for training. There's something that your heart and your mind, your experience, you fall on. 4 months after taking office, the incident happened for Councilmember Mike Bonin in his district overseeing LAX. Without hesitation, he arrived at the scene immediately to calm victims, to work with our first responders, to give information to the media as information was handed to him in a calm manner. He stepped up, as we all hope we could do in those kinds of trying times, and was challenged to do so, and hit a home run. He did a spectacular job in ensuring that he could, in fact, represent all of us with pride and dignity in such a time of crisis when the entire world was watching. It wasn't just Los Angeles. And he did so with an incredible leadership ability and calming ability to work with so many in chaos. So I think we all owe a debt of gratitude to another hero and our colleague, Councilman Mike Bonin.
Thanks, Bill. Let's squeeze in for the photo. We'll go in the back and do some individual ones, too.
Thank you so much for you start so well.
Let's give them another round of applause. They surely deserve it. And thank you, Mr. Bonin and Mr. Englander.